Supersport racing. No one out there has done a 15-lap race for a long time, so we don't know what to expect here. We've got a very quality front row with Seth Devereau on pole. Dan Jenkins, the local man, he'll be there in second place. And then race one winner, Ashton Hughes on the Scotch Structural Triumph. He'll be trying to get away to a great one here. SJ Cavell, a horror start yesterday, got some quality points, but he'll want to do much better here. Let's go and get excited. The marshals are in, so now we go to the starters' orders, and we'll look out for the lights. Here we go, Supersport 600, and lights are out. We're racing. A great start from Seth Devereau, as does Ashton Hughes. Jake Lewis as well off that second row of the grid. He's starting to come alive as well, so look out for this. Supersport 600 racing, it's been absolutely brilliant this summer, and I cannot wait for this one here. 15 laps on the cards here, as we see that MV Augusta of Seth Devereau, he's the one that's leading them into the Waistcoast Straight. Ashton Hughes right there next to him as well, so Ashton pulls up alongside. It's going to be a drag race into Pothole, and it's going to be Ashton going to take it there. So you can see that bright blue Scotch Structural Triumph. He is the one in first place. We've got a great start for Seth Devereau on his Helicraft Racing MV Augusta. Looks to be some great starts there as well for the likes of Rogan Chandler and Jake Lewis as well. So let's look out for it. This one here, we've got our Avalon Biddle, the girl power out there in 600 Supersport Racing. She's in about 7th place, so a good start. 12th on the grid, so to be up in that pack already. Look out for her. Dan Jenkins, he was on the front row of the grid, and he's back to about 6th place, so look out of the Christchurch Casino Carousel. Ashton Hughes, race one winner here. He is the leader of the championship, and he's loving it, but look out for that man in 3rd place, Rogan Chandler. We're yet to see the best of him in the South Island. He's come off that 3rd row of the grid, so to be there already, this is going to be pretty exciting as we look at 600 Supersport Racing, Johnny, and how exciting has this been?
Oh, absolutely. This is 600 Supersport Racing as it used to be. Like a lot of riders out there, 18 off the grid, and the field not too far spread out. The top 4 there, very close bunch. Seth Devereau, don't know how he's going to go for fitness. It's a big ask to do a 15-lap race after a broken neck there not so many months ago.
All right, let's give you an update as they cross the line. Ashton Hughes, Seth Devereau, then Rogan Chandler. That's your top 3. Jake Lewis is in 4th place, ahead of Dan Jenkins. Cormac Buchanan, that's him in 6th place there, ahead of Avalon Biddle. We'll then go back to Dylan Telford. Shout out to Dylan. Had a massive crash here yesterday, so we're riding under a massive fitness cloud and not sure if he's even got 15 laps in him, so we give him a shout out. 9th place, SJ Cavell, ahead of Carl Hooper, Luca Dooning, and then Nick Kane on the borrowed bike off the back of the grid. As things starting to get excited, we've got Rogan up into 2nd place after a big bold move there, Johnny.
Absolutely, big move, but he was also the fastest on lap 1. So Rogan's is definitely the man on the move. As you said in that Rakeley back bike, he is a fast boy coming through. Just needed to get his head round this track this weekend.
Yeah, so with Jake Lewis up into 3rd as well, so that's Seth Devereau from coming 2nd into Pothole, now out of the hairpin. He's in 4th place, so a bit of work for him to do. As we got Ashton and Rogan, we had some great battles in the North Island with these two, and this one's shaping out beautifully as well. This is a big 15-lapper, and we're only on lap 2 here, so getting excited about this one here. Rogan Chandler, talking to him before the weekend, and openly hates this track, doesn't ever get around here nicely, just a bit to learn. It's a busy track, and never had any success here, so for him to be running P2, just shows you how good a season he's having so far, Johnny.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jake Lewis, a local lad, in 3rd place there. He's just sitting there waiting, and he's been around. You don't accidentally win world championships, which he's done in the past, and without using your head. And he's got wise old head on him, so he'll be sitting there probably waiting till later on in the race before he shows his full cards, knowing damn well you're going to need your tyres for the last 5 laps.
Now look at that little gap opening up there at the moment, as we can see between that 3rd and 4th.
Ashton Hughes, Rogan Chandler. And then look to Jake Lewis, so that's the update there for the top 3. Fastest lap of the race was Cormac Buchanan, who's got himself up into 5th place, so look out for the young flyer from the Southland. Fastest lap of the race for Cormac Buchanan, so getting excited. And he is in touch with that front group as well. It's the front 3 there, and then you've got Seth and Cormac right there, so look out for Cormac Buchanan, the young man on the move in 600 racing.
Oh wow, that is so awesome to see, and picking up the fastest. You'd not have expected that. He was back in about 7th place there for a little while. He had a bit of traffic to try and get through, so that front group has readjusted themselves. But what we can see is that the foursomes now become a 5-pack as we look for Cormac to get on the tail of that group at the moment. But I tell you what, Ashton Hughes doing it right. But as we saw with that earlier race and the pounce from Mitch Rees over Al Hoogie in the original run of the Subbikes, just hanging back there in 2nd place and doing all the work. Because if he can get it mind over matter, that's his biggest thing. You've heard Brad talking about it. he admits that he doesn't do well here, and he hates a place is the wrong word to use, far from it, but it's just not one of his tracks that he gels so with. But he has got it mentally much better this year. Man, we talked to him on Christmas Day in the build-up for Wanganui on Boxing Day. He says, I love this place, and it's a street circuit. He said, the people are up close, it's exciting, they cheer for you. He loves it, and that's what he's sort of feeling much more attached to at the moment. So when it comes to a big circuit like this, it's like you're in the wilderness. It's such a big plane to be on. So here it is as it opened up for the Rock FM sweeper, and the man that's got the challenge on his shoulders, I believe, Rogan Chandler, he had a hiccup. He lost the gear lever in a race. Unheard of thing. He had a motocross bike. You might hear of somebody losing a gear lever, but not on a road bike. So there he goes.
Oh, it's a big update for Jake Lewis. He's now in the lead of this one. So Johnny, you said a lap ago that he's going to wait to the last 5 laps. He's gone and proved you wrong. He's out there flying.
Absolutely. Those front three just swapped the lead 3 times at the end of the back straight there. I don't actually know who's come out in first place out of that top corner.
I think it's Rogan. I think it's Rogan and then Ashton and then Jake. So look at this. This is going to be all on here. And while they're dicing and toing and froing, it's going to keep in play Cormac Buchanan and Seth Devereau, who are not losing touch with it, as we see Ashton Hughes pull up alongside his great mate and rival Rogan Chandler. Jake Lewis goes up the inside and tries to get involved, but not quite close enough. This is great racing from 600 Supersport, and we're in for a doozy here. Still got a massive 12 laps to go, and these guys are on, Johnny.
Absolutely. And Seth Devereau's just sitting there in the background, probably trying to hold himself together because of the fitness issues, from his big crash. He's in the best seat to watch these boys just swap and paint continuously, one after the other. Absolutely fantastic to see.
All right, remembering Cormac Buchanan, of course, he's the kid that's come up out of that group. There was a pack of them that he had to get his way through there, didn't get the best of starts, but now he's done the hard yards and he's getting right up onto the tail of that group, so that's going to be good. In fact, look at that now as he tries. There's probably, you've got an equal distance, almost 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and then that slight bigger gap back as we're looking back. But when I say slight, probably only about 2 other bike lengths in it, and we can actually have a bit of a look there at the 6 and 7. You can see Dan Jenkins on the impressive Optima Mega Motorcycle Centre colours. He's looking great through there as well, and Avalon Biddle, of course, is up in that group. Dylan Telford, he's had a shocking weekend. He's had 3 crashes on this bike over the weekend, and he's looking in good form to be up amongst them as well. So going for the glory at this stage as we run it down. And to give you an idea of that placing there overall, the first 6 are within 2.1 seconds of each other. From 1 to 6 at 2.1 seconds. This is as good, Johnny, as we'd see at world scale.
Yeah, and ironically enough, Avalon was the fastest of all of them because she's by herself in that particular lap. So she's coming too. So it's going to be a 6-way, maybe 7-way freight train very, very shortly.
All right, Rogan Chandler has a dive up the inside of Ashton Hughes and retakes the lead, which he'd lost at the end of the front straight. So it's Rogan Chandler leading Ashton Hughes, then go back to Jake Lewis and Seth Devereau. So it's an awesome 4-way attack. Going back to 5th place for Cormac Buchanan on his Yamaha Rider Development race team. That's awesome from Cormac on his debut season in 600 racing. And then go back to Avalon. Avalon is coming, make no mistake about it. The MTF Racing KMD Kawasaki of Avalon Biddle is exciting. She didn't get the great qualifying. She was on about 12th place, so way back on the 3rd row of the grid, and now her in 6th place was a clean track, Johnny, showing some great race pace.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a very good dice there with Dan Jenkins, and also Rogan out in the front there, Ashton Hughes, Jake Lewis, Seth Devereau.
This is exciting as they go out of the dipper and into the sweeper. Can't take my eyes off this front 4. It's definitely turned into a genuine 4-way fight here. Seth Devereau will be loving this because the more these guys tossle in front of him, the more he can hang with them and stay there. But we've still got a massive 10 laps of racing when they cross the line. Rogan Chandler leads Ashton Hughes, then go to Jake Lewis and Seth Devereau. There's less than half a second covering our whole top 4. So unbelievable racing here at 600 Supersport, and brought to us by Trevor Pearce Yamaha, another one of our quality sponsors in the field. And shout out to Super Son Jacob Pearce out there in quality 14th, the local man, doing good things at 600 racing.
And remember, of course, that Jacob's had a serious crash, and we shouldn't ever forget that fact because he's got a big comeback to do, and he's such a nice guy, underspoken, underrated. He just loves the sport so much. You don't get boo out of him normally. And Phil's dad, Trevor, well, he's I'll call him Nota. It's not as if you think a guy that's got a bike shop, his name above the door. Sometimes there are people that are proud of it and extend it and tell you about it all the time. Well, for Trevor, it's just under the radar. All he wants to do is see his son doing well and see the business doing well and see the club doing well. After all, this is his heart and what he loves as well, and that's where Yamaha revs your heart, and Canterbury's destination motorcycle store, Trevor Pearce Motorcycles, are into their own. And thanks, guys, for supporting it. We love good sponsors, and as Johnny said before, please go and support those people because they're the ones that'll be here to make sure we can still have fun and going round on 2 wheels in the years to come.
Trevor Pearce has been helping motorcycle races for a long time in Canterbury here, so it's really good to see that he's still out there supporting the sport. These top 4 ain't giving up. I'd say there'll be all sorts of different shades of blue on most of those bikes by the end of this race.
All right, into the turn 10 sweeper here at Ruapuna. Mike Perry Motorsport Park has come alive, and it's a beautiful sunny day on Grand Prix weekend. This is going to be an absolute scintillating showdown as we see 4 of them swap and paint out of turn 10. And look, Cormac and Avalon, they are coming as well. So what was a 2-point-something second deficit now, 1.8 seconds covers first through to 6. So Avalon again, the fast lap in the first one to dip into the 132. So look out. It's also Cormac Buchanan. He's quick as well. So starting to get pretty exciting for that team in 5th and 6th, and the more those 4 dice in front of them, Johnny, the more it's going to turn into quite an electric finale to the race. Absolutely,
and they'll be wearing their tyres out with the others, just trying to catch them up. They can save a whole lot of things. Must say a big shout out. I just got a text from Paul Stewart, who used to be our road race commissioner in New Zealand, did so much for the sport. So welcome to you, Paul, listening in on this this computer thing in front of me, which I don't understand, but good to hear from you, mate. You're missing a really good race here.
It is on here, Fulton Hogan, and it's a genuine 5-way fight now. Avalon's coming along for the ride as well, so look out, Cormac Buchanan. He was a 132.9 last time around, and absolutely flying. He's now directly on the back wheel of Seth Devereau, who's been relegated to 5th place now. With it all unfolding at Rogan Chandler ahead of Ashton Hughes, then go back to Jake Lewis, and looking out for Seth Devereau and Cormac Buchanan and Avalon Biddle. You can all see them now, Johnny. You can throw a blanket over them, and it's going to be on here for the rest 8.5 laps.
Absolutely, and none of these guys and girls will give an inch, I assure you. So it's actually really good to see that 600 Supersport racing in New Zealand is alive and well. These boys are just sitting there having a wee break, eyeing each other up, I would like to think, and then she's going to be all on for the last 5, but I don't know how much waiting there's going to be. I've been wrong earlier on in the race, so maybe again now. So cross the line again.
Johnny, just want to add to your comment there about Paul Stewart as well. Remembering the Auckland Motorcycle Club, as well as fronting Hampton Downs round, they're also going to be fronting Taupo at the Taupo. So they've become sort of the key club to go to for both of those North Island finals. So Paul, of course, ex-president of the club, a lot of kudos for him in the club. So I'm looking forward, because with people like Paul and many other of the good sorts that we know for years in Auckland, will be in great hands for those final 2 rounds. So shout out to those guys. Looking forward. Hampton Downs and Taupo, they come up in the 1st and 2nd weekends of March, and they will be rounds 5 and 6 after we go to Teretonga round 4 next weekend in beautiful Southland. They'll be the next 2 in February off, and then we'll come back for a March Quinella. Bring it home for the New Zealand Superbike Road Race Championships.
Yeah, big move here by Jake Lewis going into the right hand. He slips into 2nd place, so he's not done with yet. He's just sitting there biding time. He slipped past Ashton Hughes there.
Oh, absolutely unbelievable. We had Rogan Chandler qualified 9th, now leads this race. Ashton Hughes on pole with the race win yesterday. He is not going to give up. We've got Jake Lewis now up into 2nd place. He has been on the 2nd row, so just goes to show how much this race pace has been electric. Seth Devereau, he's been loving it as well, but him coming into the 2nd half of this race after coming back from injuries he will be feeling it, so shout out to him. But Cormac Buchanan, debut rookie season in 600 racing, don't rule him out of this fight either. Avalon Biddle tucked in there. She's a former New Zealand Supersport 600 champion, and she'll know a few tricks around here now, being a local lady in the Canterbury area. Then look to a quality performance, Dan Jenkins. He's under also a bit of a fitness cloud, so for him to be there doing some good lap times and running a good 7th place with Dylan Telford in his weekend he's having, that's some quality points for him in 8th place. Luca Durning and SJ Cavell go through to 10th place, with Dick Kane on the borrowed bike here in 11th. We then go to Morgan McLaren Wood, this rookie sensation for Bernard Racing, in 12th place, with Logan Rowell, Jacob Pearce, Garth Wilson and Paul Jenkins, and then look to Ben Green rounding out our remaining 17 runners in 600 Supersport action.
I want to add in there the Cormac Buchanan now hit the fastest lap in the race. He is just 1 second off the lap record. Now I know 1 second's a lot of time in road racing, but remembering it is our hero in Demon Damo Reeves, it's a lap record holder for this class at this venue, and here he is, a young kid, Cormac Buchanan, who is 1 second, I say 1 second off that lap record time, and he has gained on that pack. He is the one, remembering it's no fluke that he becomes the fastest out there, yet he is 5th in that group, but he is right on the tail of those other guys now. So look out for Cormac. I don't think he's done yet. I see him. Yeah, I'll go and start now. I reckon he can make the podium. There you go. I'll just put it out there.
There we go. It's on here. So out of the Christchurch Casino Carousel goes Rogan Chandler. After getting into the lead of this race, he's done a wonderful job defensively managing his lap times consistently, and he's had a lot of pressure piled on him. So look out for this one here. We've got about 6 and a bit laps to go as they go into the Aon Dipper. It's Ashton Hughes has got himself back into 2nd place after Jake Lewis just come out of the hairpin a little bit differently, and Ashton pounced on that opportunity. Then Seth Devereau hanging in there for Hallicraft Racing, and wonderful to be joined and invited by the team to Joe's Garage last night. Thank you to the Helicraft Racing team. It was an absolute pleasure and an honour to be there. And then look at this rookie sensation, Cormac Buchanan. Neil's already called it, looking out for a podium. So let's go racing. 600 Supersport, 6 laps to go, and your top 6 is separated by just on 2 seconds. It's going to be all on here for the remainder of this race.
Oh, this is just sensational. We're watching, absolutely loving it, and for the crowd here, they're loving it. Look at the crowd on both sides of the embankment here. This is a great crowd in today. Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. Hope you're loving it. How cool is this? You know, you could put this coverage, give it an opportunity with a big budget and have camera positions all around the place. This is what you watch in the world. This is so cool. Look at that for a top 5 in particular. We know we've got a top 6 with Ev there, but that top 5, 0.383, less than 0.4 of a second to separate those 5 riders. Fantastic. And then we're looking out for that jostling. That's where it's been going on. And looking again for Jake Lewis to try and put up on the inside of Ashton Hughes, and that's the bike battle that's been going on. That's the tightest there. But see, as all of this goes on, here's Seth Devereau playing his place in there. I think he's going to find it'll be a tiring one for him at the end, but it's Cormac Buchanan that comes right up on braking. How he gets so close to the tail of that MV Augusta is mind-blowing for me, so I'm still looking out for him, and we're going to go for it this time. The young gunners up here against the tried, the true, the hardened, the race ready. These are other 4 names that are here. They've all proved to be here before, but the new kid on the block, of course, still riding in those 300. Oh, one down.
Seth down. Yes. You can notice on the corners leading up to it, he was struggling getting that bike to turn, and maybe that was just because of the fitness from his accident. I'm not sure, but he was struggling through the infield there.
But it looks okay. He looks okay, and he's just going to go off on the track. And hopefully, I think the bike's far enough away. Hey, but I'm not the official to make that decision. But the bike's just looked far enough. Oh, in fact, he's going back to it to try and get out of the way. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Seth. Great sport. He's going to try and get the bike out of the way anyway. What a great guy.
So we've got an update too. We've got a change to the lead. Jake Lewis now, and here it's the lead by 0.049 of a second, and he's out of turn 1. Rogan Chandler there in second place, and Ashton Hughes in third. Well, that's happened with Seth going off. I think Cormac had to take evasive action because he's drifted right off that front 3. So a bit of drama for Cormac Buchanan, but don't rule him out. It's a massive 5 laps to go. This is going to feel like an endurance race for some of these guys. Then you've got Avalon, who's now been promoted to 5th.
Oh, it's gone back again. It's incredible. Of course, he went right in deep into the braking, but just overshot, and then Rogan's had to do the hard yards again and try and pull it back again, but then Jake had the line, took it on the inside. The lead changed twice on Euromark Hairpin alone just during this race. So Dostling out of it, and you've rightfully picked up that Cormac's probably had to hit the brakes a little harder to avoid Sess off in the Aon Insurance dipper, and it's let him drop off the pace of that other trio. But some work to do still. I believe he can get there. Let's bring it home with a charging run. But the 3 of them out there, what a bike battle. Something else. They're already starting to pick up on a few back markers, and we know the quality and the depth of the field, and some of those are very good people in there, like Ben Jenkins and Ben Green and Carl Hooper and the like. So come on, guys, let's see you go for it.
Yeah, Cormac's caught right back up on them now, and Jake's actually pulled about a 5 or 6 bike lengths gap on that particular lap. As you said, he gets past the lap rider nice and safe into turn 10. The others just get balked up behind him a little bit. This is going to help Jake Lewis immensely, but there's still another 4 laps after this.
Oh, this is brilliant. We talked to Jake Lewis on the podium yesterday, and he said there was still more to give, and he has turned up today on his home track and loving it. He's now got a 0.6 of a second advantage over Rogan Chandler. That's the biggest lead anyone's had in this race since we started, and we've still got 4 laps to go. Rogan Chandler, Ashton Hughes, Cormac Buchanan, there's nothing in between that fight, and still podium glory up for grabs for any one of those 4. Avalon Biddle just seems to be losing touch. It's now 3.5 seconds between her and the race lead, so not sure if Av's sort of fading away or something going on there, but yeah, she's sort of losing touch with that podium battle. Dan Jenkins, Dylan Telford still there in a credible 6th and 7th place, but it's the battle for the win we're looking out for, Johnny, and it's still with the legendary Jake Lewis.
Yeah, Rogan's actually slowly come back on him and he's pulled the gap this lap on 3rd place Ashton Hughes at the moment, so it's sort of split into 2 wee groups. Jake put in a big hard lap the lap before, isn't enough because Rogan's right back there with him, but she's going to be full on to the end.
This is going to be something special. Let's go racing our race leaders into the Southern Salvage section here at Mike Perra Motorsport Park, where we've been treated to an absolute feast of racing here. We had a great superbike race between Mitch and Al, and this one here has been a genuine 6-way fight at times, but now Jake Lewis and Rogan Chandler grabbing it by the scruff of the neck. They've got 3 and a bit laps to go. Ashton Hughes is under pressure from the rookie sensation Cormac Buchanan there, Johnny.
Yeah, and Rogan made a big mistake through the right-hander just opposite start-finish line here, so you can't say these boys aren't trying. Like, he lost the front big time, picked it up, rode the ripple strip, and yeah, probably lost 4 or 5 bike lengths out of that.
All right, let's give you an update, some lap times and some split times. Jake Lewis leads across the stripe. It's the fastest lap of the race, a 1:32.8, so he has got the hammer down with 3 laps to go. It's the fastest lap for Rogan Chandler, even with that big moment, so he's on the gas as well. But it is 0.8 of a second now, so starting to get advantage Jake Lewis with 3 laps to go. We've got Ashton Hughes and Cormac Buchanan. There's only 0.2 of a second between those two, and then go back to Avalon Biddle. Really the only one who could challenge for the podium from here, but this is going to be a thrilling 3 laps to go, I imagine.
The top 2 riders both had their fastest laps of the race in that last lap, which is pretty awesome after 14 laps, or 13 laps.
All right, this is shaping up nicely. Into Fulton Hogan, there's only going to be 2 and a bit laps to go once they fire through here. Jake Lewis, the hometown hero, former world junior champion. It's brilliant to have him back in the glory. He's a former 600 Supersport champion. He's won all over the country, but now comes back to his beloved 600 Supersport class and is showing us how it's done here. He's got probably the biggest advantage anyone's had in this race so far as he leads Rogan Chandler into Southern Salvage. Then you go back in 3rd place. Cormac Buchanan has got himself in there ahead of Ashton Hughes, so well done to Cormac Buchanan. And Neil said it a couple of laps ago, Podium was on for Cormac Buchanan, and this is exactly what this rookie sensation needs. And he's into 3rd now, but not far away from Rogan Chandler. Don't rule him out for even more glory to come.
Exactly. I see Rob Lewis down there cheering there for his son, but I'd say he'll get through his fingernails by the end of these next 2 laps.
All right, here we go.
Part of his diet, apparently, Johnny. Anyway, it's good for him.
All right, Jake Lewis crosses the line, another 1:31, another 1:33 flat. We go back to Rogan Chandler, but a new fastest lap of the race, and it's the man in 3rd place, Cormac Buchanan, a 1:32.6, so he is flying on that Blue Crew Yamaha. Go, Cormac Buchanan. Can he pull enough pressure on Rogan Chandler? This is going to be an enthralling 2 laps. We've got Ashton Hughes dropping down to 4th, and he's about 1.3 seconds now off that podium fight, so not sure what's happening to Ashton Hughes, but he's definitely dropping that race pace. And we've got Avalon Biddle still keeping touch there in 5th place. Dan Jenkins still in a quality 6th place. Then we look to Dylan Telford in 7th. SJ Cavell, who's lapping pretty consistently in those 1:34s low ones. So same sort of race pace as the front guy, so a better start. And we should see the best from SJ Cavell. But do not rule out Cormac Buchanan. Johnny, he is coming.
Absolutely. The corner speed he carried through pothole then right down into the hairpin was unbelievable. It was like watching a GP bike.
All right, here we go into Southern Salvage. This is starting to get down to the crunch for Jake Lewis. This is going to be pretty special. He was on the podium yesterday and said, I can still make some setup changes. I want more out of my bike. And this is something special. So the 29 leads into the Aon Dipper. We've got Rogan Chandler in 2nd place. He's done a pretty good job, led for most of this race. And he will be happy with a big set of championship points. And more importantly, his rival in the championship, Ashton Hughes, will be a further position behind. As Cormac Buchanan is going to be one to watch out for as he comes underneath. Rogan just goes in a bit deep. Cormac comes up underneath, so the mistake by Rogan Chandler. And Cormac Buchanan's now in here at 2nd place. The white flag is out, 1 lap to go. And have a look at this, Rogan Chandler now back alongside Cormac. So side by side into turn 1. I don't know where to look because it's all on here. But a 2.2 second lead. It's pretty much going to be Jake Lewis's to lose from here, Johnny.
Absolutely. Jake will have to make a big mistake not to have this. But I'll tell you what, Rogan Chandler and Cormac, they're going to swap some paint in this last lap. They were swapping sides, backwards and forwards up the front straight here. Unbelievable. You look at Rogan Chandler through here, and all of a sudden Cormac Buchanan has massive corner speed, both very even under brakes going into the hairpin.
This is going to be special. Let's have a look at this one here because Jake Lewis, he grabbed the bit between the teeth about 3 or 4 laps ago and he is gone. Over 2 seconds the advantage, and now instead of challenging for the win, Rogan Chandler is going to have to hang on for dear life for the rookie sensation. Cormac Buchanan right in behind him. Look out for Ashton Hughes, he is fading here. Avalon Biddle's got him in her sights as well, so the battle for 5th place is electric, but we're looking out for that battle for the podium. It is on. At the moment it's with Rogan Chandler. In behind him, Cormac Buchanan, is Jake Lewis. He's got a lap rider to contend with, but he is only about half a lap away from glory here. On the podium yesterday, still wasn't happy with that. Come back, made a few changes and come out, and he has run a brilliant race, so look out for him. The 29 is in the Aon Dipper, and the battle for 2nd place is the one we're going to keep an eye on. Last time around it was Rogan that made the big mistake into the sweeper, so let's have a look at it again as the 2 head in there. There's nothing in between them. Jake Lewis has got a lap rider, but it's not going to happen at the apex of the corner. It's going to happen down the straight, so he is home and hose. Brilliant stuff. And Cormac goes up the inside again, so he has got the job done. Jake Lewis gets chicken flag. He's going to win. Rogan Chandler's going to try and argue back. It's going to be a drag race to the line, and Cormac is going to hang on to it. That is brilliant. 0.031 of a second, 3/100 separates second and third, and it's Cormac Buchanan who's going to hang on and make it a Blue Crew 1-2. Yamaha New Zealand will be absolutely thrilled with that, and the Eltham Window Systems team, oh, that's something special. Rogan Chandler, after running a pretty good race, has to settle for third, but that's another good chunk of championship points. Ashton Hughes is going to hang on just for fourth place ahead of Avalon Biddle, and then go back to Dan Jenkins, Dylan Telford. SJ is going to come home in 8th place ahead of Luca Durning, and then look to Nick Kane riding a pretty good race. And Johnny, that's one for the ages. How good's that?
That's good. That's 600 racing as it should be. It's proper paint swapping, and any one of those top 5 guys, or and one girl I should say, was capable of winning that race. So that was worth your money, ladies and gentlemen. $20 to get in the gate, and you just got it right there. That was the race of the day. Thanks very much for having me up here. I'll go and grab a pie or something.
Well, thank you very much. Expert comments and the legendary Johnny Hepburn. Brilliant to have him up here, and we'll no doubt enjoy that again. Jake Lewis, what a performance. Those consistent lap times at the end. He put the hammer down and ends up winning by 2.2 seconds, but it is a last lap thriller, and the last corner of it was all that counted. Cormac Buchanan is going to come home in second place, and he will be elated. And it'd be great to Neil to catch up with him on the podium. So we'll catch up with that. The remaining 600 Supersport competitors are now through and home. We'll go to our NV Motorcycle leaderboard, and Jake Lewis the win by 2.2 seconds. Then go back to Cormac Buchanan, Rogan Chandler. What a cool podium. It'd be great to catch up with those 3 guys. And then look out for Ashton Hughes, who carries on his championship glory. He will remain in the lead of the championship, so fantastic for Ashton Hughes on the Scotch Structural Triumph, coming home in 4th place. Avalon Biddle's going to come home in 5th place after qualifying in 12th, so that's quality from her, and got some good pace, so she'll come alive in that 16-lap Grand Prix later on today. Dylan Telford, that is a credible ride in 7th place, as is Dan Jenkins, both riding under a bit of a fitness cloud this weekend, so good 6th and 7th for them. SJ Cavell, another horror start for him off the front row, but he comes home in 8th and knows he's got some good pace to mix it in for the Grand Prix. Let's cross down to Neil, who will do our Supersport 600 podium.
Well, certainly off the balcony here we can hear the Jake Lewis fan club giving their trumpeting best as we look over to the Suzuki here, TSS Motorcycles, Top Cat Roofing, along with Kiwi Bike Auckland Sandblasting with DID Chain and the other sponsors, so pretty darn cool to see as Rogan comes in, as we talk about. Certainly a little bit of the monkey off the back, a day that normally doesn't go to plan for him, but one that he's starting to feel a little bit better about, and we're lining up here and soon to have our top riders with us, but certainly already a top 3. Well, if there's any consolation in it, that was the race of the day so far. Rogan, how was it like to be out there?
Yeah, it was good, got a good start and got into the lead, and I was like, man, this is weird, like starting from 9th, I didn't think I'd be able to get up there, but this bike gets off the line good, and we had a good race. I kind of stuffed it up at the end. We got to figure some things out with the bike and get it turning a bit better and holding that line, and hopefully by the second one we'll have it sorted and we can, try to get to the front a bit better.
Hey, your home Manfield track was certainly something special for you, and it gave you the confidence. You had a little bit of a mechanical hiccup, but we throw those aside. But hey, for a bit of a bogey track for you, Ruapuna, that's not too bad.
No, I mean, I could easily just be on the ground and having an even worse day, so I got to take the positives. I just need to fix a few things, and hopefully we can come out a bit stronger in the second one.
Well done, Rogan. Thank you. Congratulations. So there we are with the TSS Motorcycles, Wellington Man and Rogan Chandler there on the iPone lubricated 15 Suzuki MT Helmets bike. So pretty cool to see as we looking out here. The team get the bike up on board as well. So he's doing the next race. So we'll take an opportunity, of course, that he's quickly gone back, but at least we're going to get the bike here at the moment. I suppose all we can do is play it up. I made the call when he was back in 6th place that he could go for a podium. He went 5, and of course he went 4, he went 3, and to end up in 2nd place. He'd not been in 2nd place till the second to last lap when he came out of the dipper. He lost that placing again, but then he came back and fought out to do so incredibly well. So loving all that at the moment, so pretty cool to see. Jake Lewis, come on, a bigger smile please.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
it was, thanks Neil. No, it was a really good race, really enjoyed that one. It was nice to have a bit of a battle with the guys for a while, and then pick my moments and thought, now it's time to get the head down and get on with it and see what we could do. So really happy. Big thanks to Yamaha, Eltham Window Systems, Technical Racing, Pirelli, just everyone who supports us. Let's hope we can do it again in the afternoon.
All right, tell us about what you think the changes. You know, when we were here 2 years ago and you were doing it with superbikes, and we've got 600 and making that change, and for a start with it didn't feel quite at ease for you, but now feeling better with 2 motos and 2 podiums up here. What's the difference this year?
I think just getting to grips, just a bit more riding for me has really helped. The superbike, we were sort of just getting to the front and feeling really good, but we made the change to the 600, hopefully to win the championship, so that's what we're here to do. So yeah, big thanks to Yamaha for the opportunity, and I'm glad I could finally get them a number 1.
Does a married man make any difference?
Oh, so much faster.
Yeah, well done, Jakey. Thank you very much. So there we go, an opportunity, and at least we can see the bike up here as well. So great applause from the audience, and he'll take another drink on board. Man, the energy sapping must be unbelievable. So there you go, Yamaha taking a 1-2 out of that with the Yamaha development team there in conjunction with Altherm Window Systems, YSS Suspension, Yamalube, Akrapovic, YMI, YMF, and Yamaha Genuine Parts.